Welcome back to another edition of Ozkowski Reads a Poem, Novella Edition. First of all, let me just say that 2 weeks ago I went to a music festival and I spent 4 nights sleeping basically in a field with 35,000 other people, and now I have some sort of like SARS cough that will not go away. So my apologies if I'm super gross all the time. I'll try to get through this and not cough too much, but if I do, I'm sorry. Here we are again. If you missed the last episode of Ozkowski Reads a Poem, you are a loser and you should really evaluate your life. Reevaluate your life. Just evaluate it for the first time, because obviously you haven't ever done that before. What am I saying? Anyway, I'm going to read part 2 of my novella, The Best and Most Beautiful, available from my website if you're interested. I know you are. What you missed. Not a lot. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to start. This is called The Best and Most Beautiful, part 2 of, I probably won't read all of it. You'll have to, I'll leave you on a cliffhanger. Let me stop talking and start reading. The next morning I had termites in my head and eels in my stomach. We stumbled onto the plane, off a plane, through customs, and arrived downtown Dublin at 10 a.m. The streets were made of grey stone, and the buildings were made of grey stone, and about a quarter of the people we saw were wearing novelty sailors' hats. "What's that about?" Peach asked. Peach had read Dubliners for a class in university, and I had read half of Dubliners and all of Peach's notes on Dubliners for the same class, but neither of us could remember anything in Joyce or Yeats or Wilde or Swift about 25% of Dublin being sailors. I pressed my palms to my eyes to block out the dirty light from the overcast morning. The termites in my skull bit into my thoughts. Every noise was too loud and every sailor's cap was too white. "Maybe Dublin's like a major port into Europe," said Peach. "I think I can smell the ocean. I think going to the ocean is what I'm most excited for." "When we get there, let's drink the whole thing," I said. "I bet it would be the same as drinking the tears of every human that's ever lived. And then we'd be immortal," I told her. We were still on the street corner where the bus had dropped us, staring at stone buildings pushed up beside each other. They stood stiff and brittle like old men, and I imagined one building shrugging after years of stillness, and all of the other buildings falling over. "Do you know where we are?" Peach asked. "No, I've never been here before." "Should we get out a map?" "Not yet," I said. "Let's look around for a bit. I know the street our hostel's on. I don't think we're too far away." And so I made Peach wander for half an hour before I agreed we should get out the map. We were both hungover and hungry, and my stomach kept shifting like it had turned into a lung. "When I see my food, I don't know if I'm going to throw up all over it or eat it," I said. "Or throw up all over it and then eat it," Peach added. "Vomit, everyone's favorite condiment." We'd found our hostel by then and were sitting on the patio of a pub, waiting for the breakfast we'd ordered, and waiting until noon when we could check into our room. It was raining, but we were sitting under an awning beside 2 men in their 50s who were drinking pints of Guinness. "Do you think we'll see Seamus Heaney?" Peach asked. This was back before he was dead. "I think so. He probably heard we were coming and is running through Dublin calling our names. There he is." Peach pointed to 3 men in starched white shirts and blue pants. All of them were wearing sailors' hats. "He's disguised as a sailor," I said. "It's like Where's Waldo, except we're playing Where's Seamus. He got the entire city to dress up as sailors just for us." Our waiter came with our breakfast, and we dove into it like tin men needing grease. "Did you know that in the UK it's not Where's Waldo, it's Where's Wally?" I told Peach with my mouth full. "Weird." "I know," I said. "These people have serious problems." Peach nodded, and we watched 2 teenagers in track pants and captain's hats walk past. "They're letting anyone be captain these days," said Peach. "Exercise clothes in public," I sighed. My biggest pet peeve. Peach kicked her running shoes together under the table. We arrived in Dublin the same way I'd arrived in Scotland. No real reason for being there. Minimal preparation other than a place to stay and a hope that things would work out. And when we checked into our hostel, we found we conveniently come to Dublin in the middle of some sort of tall ships boat race festival. Thus, the sailors. After a nap, the Boat Appreciation Party Festival was the first place we went, me leading the way with the map upside down, an hour in the wrong direction. "I don't know how I feel about this," I told Peach when we finally made it to the festival. We were sitting on the stone edge of a flower pot with these big ships in the river in front of us. They'd closed off the street, and there were vendors lined up on either side of the sidewalk, blocking the view of the water. "What do you mean?" Peach asked. Half of the vendors had already closed down, but the street was still full of families pushing strollers and heterosexual couples holding hands. Most of the people were wearing sailors' hats, and they all seemed to have the same face. Their features were stretched across their skulls and arranged in a look of earnest enjoyment, as though they'd been large boat enthusiasts all along and hadn't just come to the festival because they didn't have anything else to do with their Thursday evening. They would go home that night and feel that they had done something with their lives. They'd gotten their pictures taken beside a real-life really big sailboat, and they would have something to talk about at work the next day. The flower pot we were sitting on the edge of had trees planted in it, and the soil was covered in a layer of stones. I picked up a handful of stones and spread them across my palm. Organized events like this depress me, I told Peach. I just don't know if that's what I want my life to be. I'd had a dream a few weeks before where my old boss had come to me and had told me to make a dent in the earth. She was wearing a stretchy black dress with nothing underneath. She was sitting cross-legged on the couch in her old living room, and I tried not to stare at her vagina while she told me, "You have to do something, Jane. You can't just wait around. Put a fucking dent in the earth." "I'm just tired of not being a famous author," I told Peach. "Every day I wake up and I'm like, what the hell? Don't people realize how smart and funny and interesting I am?" "You can't think like that, though," said Peach. It was cloudy and getting dark. We were still sitting at the edge of the flower pot, watching one dog sniff another dog's butt. The dog owners smiled at each other like they were both embarrassed to be wandering around attached by string to an animal. "All I want to do is eat rice and write," Peach said. She hit her hand against her knee for emphasis. A group of preteens eating cotton candy walked by, and it felt like we were in no place at all. We'd passed a row of bright orange porta-potties when we'd entered the festival, and they were the same as the porta-potties in Scotland and in Canada and in everywhere else I'd ever been. I didn't know what I'd expected, but I felt like when you sit in a bath and you pull the plug, there was water all around me, pulling me down toward the drain. "I keep reading about Paris in the 20s and New York and the beat poets in the 50s, I told Peach. "It would kill me if when we were older everyone talked about Berlin or Shanghai in the 2010s and I wasn't there." Peach picked up 2 stones. She used one to etch my name into the other. She handed me the stone with my name on it. We went to a bar after that, a tourist bar in the tourist ghetto, and we left before 12. I was tired and Peach was jet-lagged, and we wanted to go to the ocean the next day. The people in the bar were all loud and drunk and wearing novelty sailors' hats, but not in the ironic way Peach was wearing hers, and we couldn't be around them anymore. We walked back to the hostel in a light rain like bits of the sky were falling on our heads, and that was Thursday. And that was the part of the book that I'm going to read today. Tune in next week for Friday Fun Day. Thanks so much for watching.